Welcome back, everyone. This is Gwydion, and this is session 2 of my playthrough of Choir of Flesh using my character Thomas Aquinas. In the last session, actually, if you'd like to watch the last session, I encourage you to watch session number 1, so I won't do a recap, but I did make a couple of mistakes. One of them I realized when I ventured to one of the locations, I ventured to an orphanage, and that's actually a point of interest. And I'm not supposed to find those until until I gather 10 rumors and can go on an incursion. So I realized that was a mistake, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to keep it going from there. And I also reached out to Alex T and realized when I get either a minor wound or a major wound, I need to also assess the impacts of those just like any creature. So for minor wounds, I give myself attrition, and I've created a little section where I can track that on my character sheet or in my token. And then second, for major injuries, I need to roll on the major injury table, which I did for the enemy, but I did not do that for me. So let's jump in. I believe that I have, looking at my trackers up top here, I think based on the day I was in, I have 2 different exploration activities I can do. So let's look back up here. And I do want to hunt and forage and then probably rest. And those will be my last 2 for the day. So if I hunt and forage, I need to make an average int check. And that will give me D4 plus 1 rations. So if I remember correctly, let me roll the dice roller. I believe I needed a 12, but let's look one more time at the average checks. Dynamic target numbers. And I know my intelligence has a 0 modifier. So average, oh, it's actually an 11. I think that's right. Let's look at Thomas again. And his intelligence is 0, so yes. So that's going to be an 11. So I need an 11 with no modifier. So let's see what he can do. Come on, Thomas. No dice. I have not had luck. I guess I could try it one more time, but I really need to rest. So let us bring that down to 1. And resting, I don't think in this case. Let me see what it does again. Recover sleep or manage your inventory. So I don't think there's anything necessarily I need to do, but I do avoid the fatigue condition. I do need to eat a ration. So let's make sure I'm tracking that. I might need a broader tracker somewhere rather than on my character sheet, but let's make this a 7 and make sure we save that. And that's going to be the end of that day. So I'm going to, we'll move on. I think I'm on day 3. So we're going to head and we're going to start the next Endless Travail section here. I need to worry about my rations. They're getting low enough that I need to, at least I think, I need to have a clear path back to the settlement. And I think each of these, I do have to roll for an encounter, but I need to make sure I have rations for the number of days I need to go back in here. So I think I'll at least go one more section. I might need to make my way back if I can't forage. So here we go. Let us roll. Let's go back to my table here and roll for, I always forget which one it is, not points of interest. Corruption sources. That's what I did wrong last time. I need to find that table. So I'm going to pause. I know my mic might have cut off there just a bit, but the table I was looking for is generating new points. So we will see what that gives us. The Hanged Man's Inn. I don't think, did I find this one before? I don't think so. I hope not. Nope, I don't think so. So a roadside inn, it signed a creaking depiction of a hanged man. The doors are boarded shut from the inside. All right. So I'm going to put this back up to 4. I'm going to say I traveled to get that new location. So the Hanged Man's Inn. So let's add this. The Hanged Man's Inn. And we'll make that, I think we've been making these 2. We'll take a look. And we will add, we'll say in, say I for in. And it's not unique. And we'll do that. We'll just put it right down here. We'll connect these 2. All right. So I'll say I traveled down there to the Hanged Man's Inn. We're going to roll a d10 and determine whether or not we have an encounter. Still haven't created one for this, but I might in the future. An 8, so there is not an encounter. So I could do some role playing there and figure out if there's anything more there. But for now, I'm going to go back. I feel like, what else can I do here? I can hunt and forage, gather rumors. I'm doing pretty good at gathering rumors. I'm going to hunt and forage. So let's do my average check again. So I need an 11, as we know. I cannot for the life of me find anything. All right. So that is going to take me down. And maybe I'll skip the rumors this time and I'll try one more time. I'll hunt and forage a little bit more before I sleep. And yeah, let's do that. So roll again. Come on. I just cannot roll appropriately here. All right. So did that. I'm going to rest. And that is my day. So that was a very uneventful day. I could have role played this if I wanted to. Maybe I'll do that in the future as I get more comfortable. But I'm going to say tried hard to find food without success. Tried hard to find food without success. Maybe next time. All right, day 4. All right, so that's that. I'm going to put that, I've got that, put that back to the top. I've done my sleep, so I think I'm going to do one more location. And then after that, I'm going to make my way back to the settlement. I think that's how this is supposed to work. So we will do that, and we will roll generating new points. We'll do that again. The hanging boulders, a field of massive boulders held impossibly aloft by thick, sinewy tendrils. So let's go ahead and first we'll put that in place. So would it say the hanging boulders? So we'll call it the hanging boulders. Size of 2. We'll add a picture. Boulders. Doesn't need to be unique. And we'll put this down below. Connect that as well. All right. And that's going to be my first of 4 exploration turns. All right, so I'm going to move him down there, and now let's see if we have an encounter. And if not, I don't know, maybe I'll try to do a little bit of role play. We'll see. So actually, I don't need that. I want to clear that. There we go. 6, no encounter. All right, so let's see these random boulders. I'm going to open something called random realities and see if I can, hopefully that'll work. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to roll 2d6 and I'm going to say, can I climb up on these boulders that are kind of held together by all these hanging vines? So I rolled a 6-6. So I'm going to go back to my random realities, rolled a 6-6. I'm going to click there. So can I climb those boulders? So this, I know Alex T has a ton of great different things that we can look at for sources, but I just kind of felt like using random realities. So I'm just going to use the simple. So I can't climb on them. I'm using the general simple up here. I can't climb on them. What else? How about, hmm, how about we try one more? And we're going to say, do I see anything of interest on any of the boulders from my vantage point? Do I see anything of interest? So do I think it's worth like trying to keep looking here and finding something else? Wow, keep rolling doubles. 2-2. So let's click on 2-2. And the answer is no. Simple no. So okay. So this just is what it looks like it was and nothing else. So how many rations do I have left? I have 7. So, and then I think each one, you know what? I still have to go back 1, 2, 3, and then back. And I have to roll for an encounter each time, as I understand it. It might not take a full day, I guess. Yeah, because it's 1 through each of these. I'm going to explore one more location. Final answer. One more location. So let's see. What have I done? I went there, I explored, or I tried to see if there's anything more there. There wasn't. So I am going to do another scavenge check. So I need an 11. Come on, 11. And for some reason, I didn't turn on the music. So I got a 9. I just can't do it. I'm going to turn on the music, but we'll see if it gets too loud. I'll try to normalize that in post-production. If not, all right. So I did that. So I need to take that down. So I am going to go ahead and try to find if I can locate any rumors. Not sure how I would be doing that, but I need to make an average pre-check, and my presence is the same. So I'm going to go ahead. It's the same as my intelligence. So I need an 11 again. So let's roll that. 20. That's a critical success. There's nothing in here other than giving me 2, which I will. I'm going to give myself 2 rumors. So I'm up to 7 rumors. You know what? I'm going to give myself, instead of like having anything else strange happen with the boulders, I'm going to give myself an extra rumor. Why not? I rolled a critical success. It's not part of the game features, but I think it makes sense. And then I will sleep, and I will maybe make a couple notes here on day 4. After investigating, although I couldn't find anything to help me climb the boulders, I did discover some interesting artifacts and am closer to finding my next incursion, whatever that may be. All right, so we're going to say day 5. And so I'm going to start backtracking a little bit. So we're going to go back here. And so this is another day, but going between locations takes 1. So that takes me down to a 3, but I do have to roll. So let me roll a d10 and see if I have an encounter. A 1. So I do have an encounter. So I'm going back through the Hanged Man's Inn. And let me just look at that again. I love having this. So it's a roadside inn. It's sign a creaking depiction of a hanged man. So let's see, what is the encounter? And I'll find the encounter table, encounter. So the encounter is survivors. A survivor or group of survivors that might or may not be friendly. Roll on the survivors table. So let's do that next. And I do see the note that I can gain a rumor, but let's come back to that. So we'll go on the survivors table. The memory keeper, an old man who has lost his sight but not his memory. For a piece of bread, he will recite a poem, a historical account, or a piece of lore from the old world with perfect clarity. That's cool. So yeah, why not? I think that piece of bread would be a ration. So I'm going to take a ration from me. And I'm getting dangerously low now. I'm down to 6 rations. And that's really getting loud. So I'm going to, well, I'll do that all later. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'll do this later. So I'm down to 6. So I'm going to think for a second. And well, you know what? Let's say so he is going to give me some type of poem, historical account, or a piece of lore from the old world. So let's do this. I'm going to look up random realities. Let's go back to the dice roller. Let's roll on the table. 2d6s. 51. So I'm going to ask what type of account does he give me? And there's plenty of tables. So let me just look on this and look around. So I can draw for inspiration on any of these. General, I'm just going to see what strikes me as interesting. So again, a poem, historical account, or a piece of lore. So quest. You know what? Just struck my eye. I was just kind of looking around this table and I see Vengeful Zealot. So he recounts a story, and I might type this in here. The old man tells me of a vengeful zealot who he thinks is still near this location. And this zealot holds a cursed object, but one with great power that could help me as I navigate this tortured world. So we'll see. Yeah, I like that. So, all right, that's him. So let's take that down now and got rid of my ration. And that was 1 day. Let's see, the hanging boulders. That was 1 day back, I think. Well, I'm going to make that 1 day. So I could either travel one more and then sleep, or I could try to get some food. So let's do that. I'm going to scavenge again, see if I can find some food, hopefully. So let's scavenge. Yep, let's scavenge. And when we do that, we need an 11. 13. All right. First successful scavenging roll. Now I need to remember. So 13. And I give you a D4 plus 1 ration. So that's good. So we're going to do a D4 plus 1. So we're going to roll 3. Not too bad. So I get back 3 rations. So I'm up to 9 rations. And that does take down. So I have 1 left, I believe, in my exploration turns. So I'm going to go ahead and camp for the night and contemplate, and maybe in the near term or in the next time, maybe I can find this zealot with a cursed item sometime later. So let's see. So we're going to put this back up to full. We are going to go to the next day, and we're going to say day 6. All right, so day 6, the sun comes up, and I'm going to go back to the orphanage, which was a weird place where I battled a bunch of odd children. So as we do that, though, I do need to, let me just not forget, I'm going to take this down to 3. I don't know why it automatically defaults up there, but it's all right. And I am going to roll for my encounter, see if I do have an encounter. I might make this a short one. We'll see. And then get back to the settlement, do that phase. A 1, so I have another encounter. So, all right, as I'm trying to make my way back, the world does not want to let me go. So we are going to go to encounter. Survivors. Seems like I encounter a lot of survivors. Let me just, well, it is what it is. It's a survivor. Oh, I should have done before. I can gain before I even. They may or might not be friendly. So before I determine that, well, let's see what they are first. Let's go on survivors. The mourner. You find a person weeping over a freshly dug grave. They are lost in their grief and will not respond at first. Patience might yield a story and a single valuable item they no longer have use for. Patience might. So I'm going to consult the oracle again. Let's do that. So let's find the oracle. And we will go back to the beginning. And we'll roll my dice. And we're just going to ask it a basic question. We're going to roll 2d6 and ask it. So I get a 55. And we'll just ask, if I wait, does that provoke a response if I wait long enough? Yes. Okay, it does. And so they might yield a story and a single valuable item. So let's do this. Let's say, so it is going to provide me a valuable item. So what's the type of item? So 22. Geez, I feel like I keep rolling the same things. So what type of item? So we're going to go back to the dice roller and at 22. So what type of item? I'm just going to look for inspiration on quest, maybe. See if there's anything in here. Or maybe exploration. I don't know. Fungi is interesting. Let me look in the loot. There's different random gear. Relics, I think, are probably too powerful. Scavenging. What's in scavenging again? Random arbor, steed of flesh. No. I think this has to be, I'm looking at gear. And what did it say? What type of item did it say? Let's look one more time. A single valuable item they have no use for. So it's somewhat valuable. So let's look on, I'm going to roll a couple times on the gear and just see what I think would make the most sense. So let's find the random gear. Looting table, scavenging. About random, there we go, random gear. I'm gonna roll like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So a lamp, clothing, or a lamp. How about one more? Crowbar. Hey, crowbar is useful. I know I said fungi and toxic, but maybe that just meant more the toxic component meant it was like useful from some, aggressive sort of way. So I'm going to take that and say I found a crowbar. So for some reason, he has this crowbar that he's had for some time that he no longer has a use for. So now I have a crowbar, and maybe that'll come in handy at some point. So let's go back to my character sheet. And we are going to list crowbar. I have to remember now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, and I get 13. So I just don't want to forget that. All right, so I can do a check, and I don't want to forget that. So for now, I'm saying that since it didn't outright say he wasn't friendly, I guess I could have asked for that, but I think he was friendly. And so I am going to make my presence check. So I need to do an average check, which again is an 11. So let's do that and see. 11, awesome. So we do have another rumor, and we're doing better with rumors here. That's rations. Rumors, we are up to 9. And if I get 10, I can invoke my incursion. So, okay. So let's see. I did that. I keep losing track of my exploration. I think that was my first, right? Yeah, I think that was my first, just going here. So maybe do I do one more on the way home? I'm still doing okay. I have rations. I could do, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go one more and that'll take me down. So let's hopefully I don't forget this. So now I'll have 2 left. I'm back at, what was this again? The Fallen Aqueduct. So let's see if we have an encounter here. And if we do, yeah, let's just see what happens. D10. 6. No encounter. So I made it back here. And now I'm torn, right? So I made it back there. I'm gonna look for rumors. I'm gonna try to do my rumors again. So yeah, actually I think that's a really good idea. I like that. So where is my dice? Dice. All right, rumors. D20, and I don't think I have any. So I got an 11, which I think is what I needed. So I get 2 rumors. And now I'm up to 11. And that did cost. So I think I am going to have to, I think I'll do the resting overnight so I don't tap myself out, and I'll start another day. So I'm going to put this back to the top. But now I have 11 rumors. So why don't we look together? I might need to wait till the next session, make this a really quick session, about half an hour. And then maybe we'll do the next session. I'll do the incursion and I'll get it all set up. So let's see what it says. Spend 10 rumors to generate a location. Use the incursion grid to generate the location's layout. Roll D8 to generate the extraction zone. So yeah, let me think about this. I am going to do that next time. And either I'll get it all set up in advance or we'll just do it as part of the next session. And yeah, I'm excited to do that incursion and see what we can find. So I think, yeah, that's going to be it for this quick session. And next time we will see how the incursion treats us. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you come back for next time.